Hello and welcome to Supercharger Finances and Education series brought to you by Prosperity Wealth Planning. My name is Jordan Brawley and I'm a financial planner at Prosperity Wealth Planning. And for today, we're going to be talking about estate and legacy planning, why it's important, how to get started. So here we go. So first off, we want to talk about the agenda here. So number one, we want to talk about what is estate planning, what is involved, what does it mean? Number two, what is the importance of estate planning? Why do we do it? Number three, then, what is legacy planning? How does that differ from estate planning? We'll see some examples in number four there of legacy planning in action. Give some examples of some ideas of things you can do to help plan for and broaden your legacy. And then number five, we're going to be talking about your estate and legacy team, who is all involved in getting these things done and accomplished. And six, some next steps. Put some actionable steps in so you can make your way to completing estate documents and preparing your legacy. So for number one, what is estate planning? For a quick definition, this is arranging how your assets will be managed and or distributed upon your incapacity or after passing. So essentially giving you control. Control if you're not able to make decisions on your own or if you are have passed away, be able to manage those assets or distribute them. For the method, this is going to be legal. So going to a lawyer, an attorney, an estate planning attorney to get documents in place to be able to have your wishes carried out for this management and distribution, as well as financial structure. So the estate attorney and the financial planner will work in tandem to both create the documents and make sure that they're implemented correctly across your accounts and other assets. To whom it applies, so who needs estate planning? Anyone who owns an asset, anyone who has a home, significant investments, savings, or someone who has a family, being able to account for guardianship, for example, for kids or for pets, even if you want to. And also someone who has specific wishes or needs. So specific wishes for how you want your assets to be distributed, specific instructions on how you'd like to do that. Those are reasons you have an estate plan done. An example of a situation, and we'll come back to this example over the course of this presentation, but Robert. So Robert is a 72-year-old widower who recently retired. He has 2 adult children, 3 grandchildren, and a home he's lived in for 40 years. He also has retirement accounts, some investments, and a modest life insurance policy. So when it comes to estate planning, there are some key documents. These are going to be the 5 main players. So the will, what does a will do? It will name guardians for minors. So who's going to be taking care of those minors of yours if you're not able to. It also directs how assets pass, but it does less of that these days. And so most of these wills are going to be vehicles to be able to pour over into a trust. A trust is going to be a more efficient vehicle for passing over of assets. And so onto the trust, that is typically what a trust will do is it manages asset distributions to beneficiaries. In addition to a will that could manage distribution of assets, a trust will provide more privacy, so it doesn't have to go through the court system. It's all going to be done privately. It will help avoid probate, so it makes the process usually cheaper and faster. It will help limit estate taxes. So if you ever be subject to estate tax, it can create vehicles to help you limit those estate taxes. And it can add conditions. So conditions for distributions, ages that you want, milestone ages for kids to reach before they can inherit, achievements that they need to make before they can inherit. All those you can do in trusts, among with so many other things. So trust is paramount in estate planning. Power of attorney for both finance and healthcare. Financial power of attorney is someone who manages money if you're unable to, or if you're incapacitated. Essentially, that's the one who can sign your checks. If you're not able to sign the checks or sign the bills, who can do that for you if you're not around? Power of attorney for healthcare, who can make medical decisions for you if you're not able to, if you're incapacitated? Living will and advance directive. This is essentially, medical preferences if you're in a critical situation. Sometimes I call it a pull the plug document. How long would you want life extending treatment to be given to you? Advanced healthcare directive is another name sometimes given to a power of attorney for healthcare. Those are sometimes used interchangeably. Sometimes these documents are combined. So if you hear the name advanced healthcare directive, that could be referring to both the power of attorney for healthcare and the living will. Just to note that these are drafted by an estate planning attorney, the legal documents. A financial planner, such as myself, the role is to make sure that your finances align with these documents, that these documents are implemented. For the importance of estate planning, number one is going to be clarity. So your loved ones know exactly what your wishes are. They don't have to guess at it. Number two, it can minimize conflict. So it can reduce the chance of any family dispute. Even if you think that there's no chance, sometimes you never know until these things happen. And so if you want to get rid of any chance of that altogether, estate documents will help guide your loved ones. For number three, it's financial efficiency. So reducing probate costs, reducing it or sometimes eliminating estate taxes, and it'll also get rid of any delays. So like I said, the probate process can be a year, 2 years. It can take time to go throughout the court system. So it can create more efficiency for your loved ones and not having so much a headache when they need to help with the distribution of your estate. And control. So control from the grave is one way of putting it, but you can decide who receives what. It doesn't have to go through the court system if you have a trust. So control is number four. As an example, after Robert passed away, his children were surprised to learn that he had never created a will or trust. So even though his estate wasn't complicated, the court had to step in to decide how his home and accounts would be divided. What could have been a straightforward process ended up dragging on for over a year in probate court. During that time, his children couldn't sell the house, access certain accounts, or easily cover expenses related to the estate. So a question I often like to ask for people who are just learning about estate documents and may not have them is, have them raise their hand of who here has an estate plan. And even the people who haven't been to see an attorney, who won't raise their hand, I'll say, well, you do have an estate plan. It's actually the court's estate plan for you. It's the government who's decided how assets can be distributed. So if you would like to have your own version of the estate plan and have more personalized, get estate planning documents done with an attorney. So what is legacy planning? Legacy planning is broader than just estate planning. So broader than just those documents, it's more how you want to be remembered and what values you want to pass down. And the estate documents can be a vehicle to do that. Your accounts, financial accounts can be a vehicle to do that, but generally your legacy is how do you want to be remembered? What does it include? Sky's the limit. What are your wishes? What are your priorities? What things do you care about? Some common ones, it can involve charitable giving. It can involve education for your children and grandchildren. It can involve family traditions. It can involve just general storytelling about your life and things you've learned. What is the goal? Again, it's about impact. It's not just about the inheritance. So for legacy planning in action, I want to give a few examples of some directions that you can take. And if you work with a financial advisor, they can help open up your eyes to things that you can do to make an impact for your loved ones. Number one here is going to be the importance of education. And again, using the same example, when Robert passed away, his children found that his estate plan included not only a trust, but also in this case, a letter of wishes. In it, he shared his story of immigrating to the US with almost nothing, why he valued education, and his dream that every grandchild would graduate from college. Before his passing, he created and funded 529 education plans for his grandchildren. In his trust, he left an additional portion of his assets earmarked for college costs, tying his financial gift directly to his story. Now every graduation is a reminder of Robert's hard work and sacrifice. This letter of wishes is something I've seen used. It's not typically like a legally binding document, but it can help express how you want your heirs to use these assets. Great way of passing on a message. Another example for charitable wishes. So Robert, this time, always enjoyed gifting to local charities. Before his passing, he created and funded a donor-advised fund and named his children as successor owners. In a letter of wishes, he gave them responsibility to recommend grants each year to local charities of their choice. At the first family meeting after his passing, Robert's children and grandchildren spoke about the causes he supported and got to vote on where the next gift should go. What began as a financial plan turned into a family mission of service. So again, what causes do you care about? What legacy do you want to leave? Leaving a letter of wishes, preparing the accounts ahead of time can help prepare your legacy to carry on after your passing and continue to bless your family. That kind of leads into the next one. So family traditions and values. In this case, instead of leaving just a will of divided assets, Robert also included what's called an ethical will. In this, he just recorded personal letters to each of his children, sharing his greatest life lessons, his favorite memories of his late wife, the mistakes he learned from, and the values he wanted his children, to carry forward. When his estate was settled, his kids said the money mattered, but it was the words and advice that stayed with them the most. So really, there's so much flexibility in what you can do. A lot of this just has to do with what your own goal is for your legacy, what your wishes are, what you want to pass on to your children or anybody else in your life, you know. So your estate and legacy planning team, who's going to help you achieve this? Number one is going to be the client or you. You are the central decision maker for the estate and the legacy plan. Number two, your financial planner. They can help align these financial resources with your legacy goals. If it's a 529 account, if it's a donor advised fund, making sure that those are set up and invested right, making sure they have the correct successor owners or beneficiaries. Number three, your estate planning attorney is paramount. They draft the legally enforceable documents that align with your legacy goals. Number four, a tax advisor. They can work with your estate planning attorney and financial planner to help minimize the tax impact on that estate and your estate and legacy plan. Insurance specialists can come into play as well sometimes to help protect those assets and help fund those legacy goals. And lastly is going to be the trustee or executor, otherwise known as agents or fiduciaries. These are the people you choose to handle everything after you've passed. So the people who step in and who execute the instructions as outlined in your estate documents. Trustees for a trust, executors for a will, agents are for healthcare, and financial power of attorneys and fiduciary is something that explains all of those, essentially putting the interest of the decedent or the person who's passed away ahead of their own and following their instructions to a T. So for next steps, number one is going to be reflect on your own values and goals. This is going to be most important. Take some time with yourself, your wife, your husband, your family, your partner. What do you care about? What are your priorities? What things do you want to leave as your legacy? Over time, number two, have conversations with your family. And these can be great, meaningful, wonderful conversations. They can also be hard conversations to have. Some advice that I've heard given is to take it in bite-sized pieces, to not do it all at once, as well as just take into consideration the goals, wishes, and feelings of your family members. And as needed, have those conversations. It's great to be open about these things so that way they're not any surprises should something happen and they step into the role of needing to help manage your estate. Number three, meet with your financial planner and estate planner. That's important because of number four, where you create and or update key accounts and documents such as estate documents. Number five, in preparation for this all, document your stories and lessons, like life lessons. Take note of these things so that way you have it written down, you have a record of it. Number six, you can then start to plan family gatherings or traditions around your legacy. If your legacy is more charitably driven, plan a gathering around going to your favorite charity. If it's more vacation and having fun, plan a big cruise. And if a part of your legacy is making sure that your family can go on a vacation once a year using those funds. And then lastly, it's just going to be review and update periodically. Things change, life changes. We never know what's going to happen. So usually every about 5 to 10 years, make sure to go back and update these estate documents to make sure that they're accurate to your current situation. And that's it. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or you want more information, feel free to contact us at info@prosperitywealthplanning.com or visit us at our website, prosperitywealthplanning.com. Thank you.
Past performance is not indicative of future results. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Prosperity Wealth Planning, LLC is a registered investment advisor located in Irvine, California. Prosperity Wealth Planning may only transact business in those states in which it is registered or qualifies for an exemption or exclusion from registration requirements. The information in this video should not be construed as a substitute for personalized individual advice from Prosperity Wealth Planning. Information is for educational purposes only and is not intended to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Prosperity Wealth Planning is not a CPA firm or law firm and does not provide specific tax advice, legal advice, or estate planning services. You should consult with a qualified tax professional or attorney for tax or legal advice before implementing any strategy discussed herein. The opinions expressed by our firm or its supervised personnel herein are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass.